Howdy all, this is Texas Gaming Industries here, and welcome back to another episode of my Let's Play Transport Fever 2 Free Mode Edition. In the previous episode, we acquired some new diesel locomotives, two of which serve both a recycling plant as well as this separation plant, one to take sand and wastewater, and one to take building materials to granite, as well as a new passenger diesel to handle one of our express trains. And in this episode, we're going to expand our operations and hopefully start transporting more commodities. Now, first things first, I got to connect the freight station at Black Diamond City to our network. I have been pushing it off for too long as of now, and I need to start transporting commodities into this city. I need to at least transport commodities into each city, even if not all of them are going to be transported in by rail. Do that. Connect this, connect that. Do that, and that. Now, one of the most unique things I just found out is the fact that semaphore signals like this cost like 3.50. But semaphore color light signals like this cost a little less, though these cost a little extra. And the dwarves, they're like this much. And these overhead signals are basically only 2,000 each. So with that, every new section of track I construct will have color light signals from now on. Now, this doesn't mean I will basically be replacing all my signals on the main line as of right now. They're still doing fine, but eventually I will have to replace all of them for a brand new color light design. Now, with that in mind, we also need to get started on delivering oil. There's an oil field not too far from Blue Water City, and we'll need to start transporting oil. The only two destinations that oil is needed in this map is basically the asphalt plant and an oil refinery, according to the consumers, with the said oil refinery in granite and asphalt plant in whiskey. So let's start expanding our operations. We'll basically connect the main line to the oil field from the switch that leads past the track leading to, well, the aluminum. Though, however, the track needs to be flat. We'll do that, and just basically curve the side of the river. No. No bridge. Put that down. Do this. Lay the track straight. And then place down a crossover piece. And why does my station have overhead wires? I'm not operating electric trains in this region. Though, if the town of Black Diamond City needs building materials later on, I'll basically serve it using an electric freight. Alright, now with that taken down, well, basically leveled, place down the new signals for the new extension from the oil field to the main line. And also, we'll need to also get started on transporting, lumber from here, paper from here to this packaging carton factory. And according to the packaging carton factory, Kingsburg and the Grand Valley Fruit Juice Factory needs basically those two. So, we'll need a freight station. However, we're going to go for a 240 meter because there's not going to be too much traffic coming out of this. But if there's going to be more products to ship out to towns that require packaging carton, I'll basically expand it. And why does my signal tracks have catenary? I don't want catenary on my stations, thank you. We'll start expanding the track out of the carton factory. And then do this. Basically make a connection at this paper mill. Then basically make a switch to connect to the main line. And the new switch for the main line. And we'll also need to build a bypass track, because I don't want my trains carrying the packaging materials to get stuck behind one of the other to wait for the train carrying the paper for the factory. We'll basically make a curved section here, go forward, and basically cut over at this crossing. We'll set up a cross buck here, and well place this down, and also fix the slope. 42 miles an hour. Well, granted, it was that or basically building an expensive tunnel. We'll build past the factory. And we'll basically build a spur switch here on a straight piece of track, no less. Like here. And then basically curve this track back up and connect up there. Simple as that. Done. Now, this fruit juice packaging plant. No catenary, please. We'll basically make it 5 tracks, as we'll basically need to deliver fruit juice later on. But the towns that we have aren't limited for this product, so we're basically good enough as it is. Oh! Riverside also needs a new commodity, manufactured goods. And we'll also, let's see. We'll do that. Connect. Do that. Do that. That. And finally connect this. And that should basically do it for delivering packaging cartons to the fruit juice packaging plant. We'll smooth this ground out, and we'll start adding signals. And Riverside now needs asphalt. So we basically got some asphalt to deliver to that town later on. But first and foremost, we still gotta get some services set up in this region. We'll place down some dwarf signals here. And placing some here up at the paper mill. And also, for trains entering and exiting, this. Make it a lot easier. And finally, placing down some dwarf signals up here. Perfect. Now we're basically ready to make some new services. At least from right now. It will pick up, one train will pick up wood, well, lumber, paper at the plant, take it down to the packaging carton plant to be processed into packaging cartons. This will be freight train F2B, which is lumber products paper. And also, we got some new equipment. Some brand new buses, our first articulated locomotives, the J35 Class 4664 Challengers, a new NW2 switcher, a new variant of the E2A diesel, a new trolley, the PCC 1643 Pittsburgh trolley, some new guns, or gondolas, and some brand new boxcars, which basically hold a lot more commodities compared to the smaller boxcars that we got in the 1900s. Once that is cleared, let's see. Is this actually pronounced properly? Let's see. Oh, there we go. Alright, paper products will be picked up. Then we need to set up a freight train to pick up the loads of paper. Well, cartons to take to the factory. This will be one of the many processed products. So this is going to be freight train D8, which is processed products, which is cartons. Now, let's get some equipment. First of all, for the diesels, since we're still buying some new ones, we'll get a couple of the Alco HH660 diesel switchers, and we'll basically save the more modern box cars for some modern freights. Now, these gondolas can carry a whole plethora of different types of commodities, including asphalt. We might use them for later. But for now, this train will basically carry a maximum of 360 units of paper because of the 240-meter platform. We'll buy this, delete, remove, and we'll basically acquire a new NW2 switcher, the TRRA 552, and assign them to the new services. This one picking up paper to take to the carton plant, and this one to pick up loads of cartons to be taken to the fruit juice packaging plant. And with a demand for asphalt getting bigger, we'll need to get started on transporting asphalt. Now, according to the rule for production, it requires oil entirely, but it also needs either stone or slag to produce loads of asphalt. And since whiskey needs it from here, the only other two destinations is Blue Water City and Riverside. So, with that in mind, we can at least place down a 5-track station at 360 meters and connect to that. Now, what we need to do is connect it to the main line. Though the roadway between these two already has a crossing, and I don't want to basically have, well, trucks or cars getting stuck behind a long train, because this is going to basically be a very, very congested line in the future. We'll place this track down. We'll curve it up to the left. Do that. And that. Build out. Then finally connect these two industries. And then connect this one. Yep, I could still build a slip switch. And we'll need to build a crossover here. So, this track up here will be used for oil deliveries, these two for stone and slag, and these two for delivering the asphalt by rail to other towns. Alright, new production chain now connected. But now we gotta fix up this roadway. Basically make the road a little bit high enough for... Okay, that's a little too low. That does not look good. Well, I could at least change it to something else for now. And then just basically make a straighter bridge. Delete that bad bridge. And basically build a much better straight bridge here. Perfect. Now, we'll curve the road down, and then we'll curve the road down here as well, but also convert this into an embankment. Now, trucks and buses and cars will now be able to go over the tracks instead of going through another crossing. We'll get the gameplay back up, but now we'll also got to get started on placing down some more signals. We'll need to place down a couple of these signals just before the arrival of these sightings, and place down a new dwarf signal for the oil trains. Plus, there is actually an industry close by on where we can deliver stone. The granite quarry located near Granite. I always think that maybe the reason for the town's name is because of the quarry. Because this quarry is basically has high quality granite stone rock that's useful in construction, but has yet to basically have it out to the public. Alright, the new signal, well, the new slip switch is set, and now we have a new industry to connect. Okay, first of all, we'll need to set up a train to pick up minerals, well, stone, and bring it to this factory. Full load, 10 minutes, and according to my freight train list, minerals are classified as an E. So this will be freight train E8A, which will be minerals and stone. We'll have a full load and take it down. Well, actually, to make sure the cars don't get reloaded, it's only going to unload commodities. And let's see, line 1, it will pick up a full load of oil from the oil well and take it up here to be processed. This will basically be under liquids, which is a class A. So this will be freight train B1A. Freight train B1A liquids oil. Well, raw oil. Alright. Now with both oil and stone ready, we'll now get some new equipment. Let's go to the roundhouse and acquire, let's see. The stone train probably might be heavy, so we'll probably use this 484 Northern to handle the loads. We'll basically take the loads of stone in a 1900. Actually, yeah, we'll just use the regular stock gondola car to pick up the loads of stone. 600 units of stone. We'll add a caboose to the back end of the train. Purchase it. And with train number 70 now purchased, we'll assign it to handling the minerals traffic. And, getting back to oil, we'll need an engine to handle that oil train. We'll get the Mikado, and we'll get several of these 8,000-gallon tankers, since they carry over 30 units of oil, or 30 units of liquids. Have a caboose. Buy it, and with that in mind, we'll basically put it to work on handling the raw oil train. Wait, hold on. Oh, I classified it as B, not an A. So this will be a 3A instead. Alright? And by the way, we'll need to basically start replacing one of our freight trains, which is basically our coal train from the steel mill. Now, this locomotive is good. The problem is, once it has a full load, this train struggles, as 14 miles an hour when climbing up a steep gradient. That could easily be remedied by replacing the Mikado on this train and acquiring something a little more stronger, this Class J35 Challenger. After acquiring this locomotive, this train, although its cost has grown, this locomotive actually has a lot more horsepower. This train could basically maintain 45 miles an hour on flat and medium grades, and only go as slow as 41 miles an hour on a steep hill. So this is basically a much better improvement. Plus, with the 9000 class handling the heavy loads of iron ore, it should basically be our strongest locomotives to date on our fleet. Oh, I just also realized we haven't actually finished signaling the entirety of our new lines yet. I better take care of that quickly. And we also got some new vehicles. Some brand new buses, some new Challengers, including the user repaint variant, some from the Union Pacific, one from the Clinchfield, one from the Rio Grande, a Norfolk and Western J class, which we'll probably use on a passenger service, the Polar Express Berkshire, surprisingly, some B&O Berks, a new version of the E2A diesel, some PR Marquette and PR Marquette Berkshires, and some new flat cars. With that in mind, we can also finally get started on transporting some new cargo bound for Black Diamond City, because we got a lot of machinery to take care of. Speaking of which, this train is... we need to replace this locomotive. This engine is not doing too well in transporting loads of, well, steel. I think we'll basically put another 484 Norman on this train to basically increase the speed. But with that in mind, we'll get ourselves a freight train to carry the loads of, well, machinery to Black Diamond City, using some of these new freight cars. We'll add some box cars, including the Chicago Northwestern, Illinois Central, let's see, Nickel Plate, Penzi, and also add a couple of these new 40-foot flat cars. A couple of these generic black variants, a couple of browns, Central and New Jersey, Erie, let's see, Western Maryland, Western Pacific, Virginian, and we'll basically add 2 more flat cars. 1 brown, 1 black, and finally, add a new caboose to this freight train. For 61.1 million, we are now having our first ever fully on fast freight. It will pick up machinery, have a full load, 10 minutes, and basically take it down to Black Diamond City on track 1. Since this is going to be the first train to carry loads of, this will basically be Freight Train TS6C, which will be carrying machinery. And I also realized I got the color wrong. There we go. Much better. Now, once we assign it to that service, I believe we have reached a good ending point for today's episode. Let's see. And there we go. Now we'll have to also increase our steel production as well. But other than that, though, if you enjoyed this episode on my Let's Play of Transport Fever 2 Free Mode Edition, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. That's Texas Gaming Industries for new video uploads every Friday or Saturday, depending on my on-site schedule. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye!